Hey, 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 welcome to Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura and I'm going to do a general message for anyone that lands on this message. Know that energy is fluid, roles can be reversed. Flip it, switch it, twist it, interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Now, also know that I don't just look and see what's going to happen within your connection and what your person thinks about you and all that stuff. I like to look at the spiritual blocks, the inner child wounds, and really the shadows and how they play out karmically within your situation so that you have the option to shapeshift your reality. I also like to ask the universe at the very, very end what the advisory would be to deal with this type of situation. So the readings are a little bit different, more of a transpersonal psychology edge, mainly because always start off using my Psychic Soul Healer deck made for healing the shadow aspects of ourselves. And they're based on transpersonal psychology. Would they help us transcend the limitations of our mind? And when I say the limitations of our mind, everybody has limitations based on the experiences that they live, right? Because it's our environment that creates our reality, because we form habits, behaviors, and reflexes. And reflex is just an automatic behavior that are in alignment with our survival from a very young age. So we're programmed. And so when we get in our own way, that's what a psychological reversal is. So self-sabotaging behavior is the reason why we don't live the life experiences that we want to live. Now you may say, no, 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 it was Clarabelle at work. Understand? There's universal energy that's made up of unconditional love. That's the supernatural energy. That's God. That's the energy that's inside of us. It's felt as empathy and sensitivity. And when we're in alignment with the laws of God, the laws of love, and the laws of nature, we're able to create our heaven on earth. There's a divinity in self. The divinity in self is the God part of self, which is, again, unconditional love. So when we have hate, when we have fear, and any emotion that's derived from fear held within us, we tend to reject that part of ourselves. We don't like that part of ourselves. And we don't like that part of ourselves because we don't get good results from coming from that level of consciousness. So it's important to not just know what your person feels or what they're going to do. It's important to break karmic cycles that keep you in a place of limitation and disempowerment. That is what shadow healing is, because today you may be tuning in to find out what your person thinks. Tomorrow, you may not even like that person. Perception. And as we heal, our perceptions change. Our wants and our desires change. People spend a lot of time trying to heal by doing meditation and affirmations, and nothing heals like embodying a true essence. Hey, my love, Wendy, it's been so long. I love you. I love your energy. I hope that you're doing well, and I love your pink emoji. So understand, it's all about healing, because we can shape shift our situation. And I was just mentioning the type of readings that I do, and Wendy knows the type of readings that I do, so I won't repeat. And also know, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, all you need to do is like, subscribe, share. Well, not really share, but you gotta like and subscribe and write the word, and the word would be detachment. And that's always how I start my readings off. And detachment is like That's the fragmented pieces of self. So either you're dealing with someone that's fragmented, and understand like goes to like. So you are fragmented, meaning trauma, experiences that you've gone through, traumatic experiences made you detached. So there might be parts that you use type of readings because they, right? And speaking of triggers and detachment, I think that that's a good place to start off, to look at the actual triggers. Like, what is a trigger that you do? And you might be like, I am not doing anything except for breathing. And that could be true. Because understand, if someone is detached, and this is the energy I'm feeling because I'm getting it psychically, whenever someone's like detached, it's like instead of them being acceptance and open to love, sometimes they're mean. And you're like, what the fuck is that? Why would you be mean? And it's because they get triggered. But so a psychological reversal is when a person gets in their own way. Everybody wants love. Even when we think we don't want love, everybody wants love because we're made up of love. So why wouldn't we want love? Then there's a dust part of self, which is the ego part of self, but there's the divinity part of self, which is the spirit part of self, the soul part of self that connects us to each other. It gives us, again, that intuition. It's the other realms. So understand, everybody wants love because everyone's made up of it, but triggers. And so you might be like, well, every time I get the person that I actually like, they turn into an asshole. That could be, again, a form of detachment. How does detachment play out karmically? There's many different ways, but none of them are good. They're all karmic and they all keep us in a place. So you might be like, I keep dating people that are emotionally unavailable. That's a sign of detachment. You'd be like, well, I don't really feel like I'm detached. If anything, I overgive, I overdo, I overlove. And that would be you, Wendy, and whoever else is on highly sensitive people. Like, it's not me, it's that person. It's like, and I can feel that they like me, but that's what it looks like. I always get that's what it looks like. And it's frustrating and it creates a trigger. No one likes it. And so mask, I got tired of the mask you wore and decided to expose all your lies. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like the fake persona. It's like you're not really you. I can feel that you like me, but it's going to look like that. It's that because I got to act tough. I got to act mean. I got to act like I don't care. Emotionally detached that's what it looks like. So it's like the person, it doesn't like who they are. And it's because they have wounds there. That's not really who they are. They're perceiving themselves. But it has absolutely nothing to do with you. However, it's triggering something within you. So, okay, so that's one thing, but we're going to pull two more and then we're going to push and see what are the inner child wounds that are woken within you, because that's going to give us clues. And then we will look and see how shit played out and what they're going to actually do about it. But it's like helping you understand what the spiritual issues are, the shadows, allows you to take control over your life and shape shift the situation. If you're like, no, I don't like the way that this fucking shit is going. It's like, and that's what it is. Yeah, that's, again, someone that goes out of their way to be like, I don't like see you. It's like, but you have feelings. So, but again, it awakens a wound within inside of you. So past, I had a hard time letting go of the past and the fears associated with it. So the manifestation and chaos in relationships. So the person brings every single trauma into the relationship. So here it is that, yes, it's awakening in you, but we understand why they did what they did. We'll see how things played out and what the person's going to do, but understanding, again, that it had nothing to do with you allows you to not take things personally, but allows you to see things from a different perception. So you can then incorporate healing things to see yourself differently, because healing is it's that the soul says, I know that there's something wrong. And so I'm going to take this shit into my next relationship looking for problems because of the trauma that you put onto me because of your wound. You're bleeding all over me. So helping you understand it, well, again, different perception is all what healing is, and incorporating the actual healing message. So the person got stuck in their past, and I feel like they grew up with in an imbalanced environment to begin with, and that's normally what happens. Someone grows up in a very codependent environment where the parents are miserable, like, and so you get conditioned from a very young age to be fearful that you're going to wind up like that. And then you wind up getting into relationships non-committal, which is what I feel like happened in this, which is the mask of I don't care, but I'm not giving you anything to get close enough to care one way or the other because I'm too afraid to get close. I'm ignored. I don't feel heard. So again, this is how it triggered you. I don't feel heard or valued. My feelings seem to be ignored and it hurts. Really, the person at one time, their feelings were hurt. That's why they do it, right? And so they didn't like what they got. So they took on this persona, which is the mask. And so you weren't really dealing with the real person. You were dealing with a version that they wanted you to perceive them to be. But that's why it's fun to look at the hidden truth. It's like, okay, you showed me this shit, but who are you really? Who are you really? Because you'll see like opposite energy and you're like, well, what the fuck is that? The person like looked like they hated me. They looked like they couldn't have cared less. They made me feel like a piece of like nothing. They tossed me away like I was nothing. And Spirit says, well, that was a spiritual lesson for you, my love. Because no one should be able to make you feel that way. That's not making you feel like you're unconditional love. You are me in the universe. It was my fault, but I blamed you. Yeah, that's called gaslighting. That's called gaslighting. That's what that is. Yeah, and that's how a person hooks them too. Because you say, well, what happens? Well, a person comes on strong, there is a spiritual connection, you can feel it, but then they completely act different, but then sometimes a little bit nice, and it's a little bit of gaslighting, and it's that. It's they base it like they can feel the connection, like narcissists. I regret lying to you. This one's calling to me. You speak to me through music. So again, you're in separation from this person. And at least because you're separate from this person, they're thinking about it. Where I don't even think they would even be thinking about it normally. So this person was really coming from an ego self, which is when we wear a mask, that's exactly what we're doing. We're coming from this perception of ourselves that we want people to perceive that we are, but in that we can never really get close. And that's what happened here. So the person never really got close. So you're like, how can they act mean to me if I'm feeling this strong connection? And that's really what that is. And so then we ask again, which is, I want to be more than friends. The person wants to be more than friends, but will they go about it the right way? Well, likely not if they haven't healed, only until they realize they have to come in correct and that they really truly love. A lot of times they don't really love, they're in lust, and they realize that. When a person cannot control how they feel, they surrender their ego. So this could be a twin flame connection. I'm not saying that it can't be. What I am saying is, however, what I am saying is that They have feelings, but they never got close. So it's easily connected. Their way was to do it very toxically. Come in, get you hooked, have feelings, give you just enough, and then pull away and then twist things. Keep like you would might say, well, I feel like you don't give enough time or we don't talk enough, and they would be like, I talk to you all the time but you don't want to talk to me, or twist things, or say, I do listen to you, I just don't do it the way you want me to. And so they'll make it look like you're blaming them for something, like that's you're judging me for the way that I am. And where you don't want to do that, obviously, with someone that you care about. So this was the gaslighting, like I said, but this is also what kept you hooked for certain, and that's what they knew. So I don't think that they ever really thought about really truly what they wanted, because I can't really let you in close because I'm wearing a mask. Reminiscing. So this person's in a place of reminiscing. They want to know friends or family. Just so again, that they're very easily controlled, and I've been getting a lot of that lately. That people allow, and I believe it's because we're living in spiritual times. So spiritual times call us to like shed masks. Again, shed the shadow, and the only way that we can really shed that shadow is to step into our true self. But if people in our environment are telling us who we are, who we need to be, or they're, confusing us, because we can care about the people in our environment and then feel what they want to feel, have a clairsentient connection to that person and feel. And so if friends and family don't want your person to come near you, well, that's another reason why they were playing head games. It's like, I want you. So the spirit recognized you, but the dust part of them, the ego part of them that listens to everybody else, that needs to fit in with everybody else, because they have fragmented pieces of themselves that they don't never even created parts of themselves. So what you felt was real is what I'm trying to say, because there was a soul's connection. This person strategized. They mentally tried to manipulate the relationship to get what they want without having an emotional connection. But they didn't realize this is a soul's connection. They don't have control over that. So that's why they're like, why am I still thinking about you? Why am I still even thinking about you? And what they're seeing is you can't control unconditional love. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to, again, we have free will. But it's, again, there's an awareness that your person is realizing, like, you're like the real deal for them. It's like, I'm afraid of commitment. And this is what I was saying. The person's afraid of commitment, so that's why they wanted everything their way. But why does that happen? It's like, but we could ask 1,000 questions and who cares? But the bottom line is it happens usually because I've been in a lot of bad relationships. So I tend to go for low vibe people, and I'm feeling like you're not a low vibe person. You're someone that has standards. So they're trying to control the relationship, but they can't. And this is, again, eventually, how does one surrender the ego? Only through unconditional love. I dive in and out of relationships. That was just flipped over. So I feel like it was the sign to take it. And that's the truth, in and out. It's like long enough here for a good time, but not for a long time. Not going to let you really see who I am, because I don't really like who I am. There's broken parts of me, you see? So I live by the persona of who I am. So that's why you're like thinking that I thought I like fell in love with this person. It's like, that's not the person. That's the persona. That's who they could be, but they got to do the work. I don't know what I want. Yeah, because it's going to require work. It's going to require so it's not you, but it will trigger you. That's why I'm saying we need to look at your triggers. I mean, not your triggers, but your inner child. Like, why the fuck did this person come into my life to like aggravate me or just make me feel like shit? Was that it? And God's saying, remember, you're love. So whatever is the person shouldn't have been able to make you feel any which way. You're like, well, that's easy to say. I had a spiritual connection. Spirit says, if you were fully in alignment and there weren't fragmented pieces of self, you're down there to learn. Learn that you're not separate from unconditional love. I'm trying to get you back to love. That's why you fell for this person to begin with. So it's like, all right, what did I have to learn? And am I at least going to be able to meet someone eventually? Like, what the fuck? And God says, you'll always meet somebody. You want to break the karmic cycle. It's not about that. You want to stop the madness of making, like, living karmic themes that keep you in a place of, why am I reliving this? It's like that you want to rip somebody's face off over time and that's that energy. That's that emotional trigger. This comes this way. So I have to I don't know whether I want to keep this, but I'm like, knowledge and wisdom is what we always aim for. And I'm just going to put that like that because there was a card that came in the deck. And I never know what the fuck to do with it. I'm going to be honest. Because it's like, well, am I supposed to use it or not? But I'm going to say, well, the aim is always knowledge, wisdom, moving into a higher state of consciousness, which is unconditional love. How do I get there? Because I want to be a magnet to that. And that means the experiences too. Space. So again, a lot of empty space. Maybe there's a sense of not really knowing who you are. Yourself. So you're pulling someone to you that doesn't know who they are. Like goes to like, because you're like, well, what the fuck? Why am I drawing this person to me? And it's like, so your fragmented pieces of self would mean that you have to create yourself and that there's empty space to do it. And that's also by creating more of yourself, the things that are in alignment with your true self drop out because you only have so much time, energy, and focus. Confusion. So again, there was a lot of confusion of like that was in your environment growing up. And that confusion was, I don't really know like who I am. I feel like you were a very highly sensitive person. You thought a lot. It was turbulent in your environment. So you were almost overstimulated. So obviously coming from a place of fear, because there's only two energies, love and fear. It's not saying you were always fearful, but I didn't feel strong within myself. Which mostly that's normal for kids anyway. We're all born sensitive for a reason. Security and safety. Again, I didn't feel secure. I didn't feel safe. So again, you are manifesting. You are drawing to you situations and people that don't make you feel safe. That's how it plays out. So, and that starts off by, again, someone that's not nice. Someone that, again, is not respectful. So we understand what it is. Why am I pulling this fucking person to me? It's not so much what this person's going to do, but we always want to know what that person's going to do anyway. So just because there's an ego part of self and we have to fulfill that, in order to be fully balanced, to be honest, it's not just about healing the spirit. I mean, that's my justification anyway when I tell God, because it's like, he's like, well, it's not prediction. It's satisfaction. There's many different perceptions that play out at one time. Whoever lands on this is going to resonate with it. So it's not going to be for everyone. So, the universe brings us what we need. And this message could be one that someone really needs to heal. Like, can I hold on to this? I mean, can this thing work? What's this person going to do? Should I even deal with it? And what would be my healing energy? I should take that because it was flipped over. You make me want to be a better person. So from afar, we can have a stalker, someone that's not in your life, that's looking at your life, is noticing your life. Please be patient with me. So this person could be lying to themselves, which a lot of times in a mask, if I do have unconditional love, because there's a soul connection, I don't really want to let you go. I just don't want commitment. I just don't want it to be that way and this way. And judging, again, all their relationships based on past relationships and what other people did instead of actually being in the present moment and grounded and being in the relationship because they don't trust themselves. I wish I could take it back. So this is really how they feel. You may be like bullshit. It's like, remember, they're not going to show effort because this person doesn't show effort and they're wounded. Again, root chakra imbalance. There's very little energy. I want to work things out. Okay, we're getting too many things that are like that this person really is thinking it. Okay, so then can prove it. Prove it. So we have to take out the tarot deck because it's like, prove it. What the fuck are you going to do? Because I feel a lot of reminiscing and so regret, but really the groundedness is what you do. The groundedness, the healing is the integrating the spiritual lesson, and that would be to change behavior. And then, of course, we're going to ask if this person can't step it up, which don't be surprised if they can't. If they can't step it up, that you have to, that it's what are you going to do to get past this energy? How, because it's like, well, now I'm stuck with the shit energy you're telling me because it's like I put too much time to this person and I cared too much. So how am I going to transmute this energy? Because that's kind of unfair. Eight of Swords, self-entrapment. So I believe that your person is actually in self-entrapment, which is I'm fighting with myself. It's like I want it, but I don't. It's like it's a prison because they're not living in alignment with their true self. They're more living in alignment with that mask. And we know why. Past relationships. What are these? Hangman, in need of a new perspective. I believe that this person is, but it's like, look at this reckless show off. So they're going to take a new approach, but possibly not one. Again, this person's not coming from a place of balance, which is when I feel strong within myself, I act normal. Like when I don't feel good about myself, I have to create these alter egos. So I'm going to do it. And that might mean instead of coming across like, hi, how you doing? I might try to come across like, hey, I'm a show off. Like, look at my nice car and what I have. And, I'm overdoing it, or I'm not going to do anything at all. Oh, you're there? Oh, I barely noticed you, where you're like, it's never balanced. And that's because, again, it's coming from that mask. So they're going to take a different approach. And if they're thinking about, again, strategizing, how am I going to deal? Root chakra, not intuition. We're coming from a survival perspective. We're not coming from the higher self. We're coming from survival self. This is where this person is going wrong. So that's what you're dealing with. You'd be like, okay, so then why? It's again, Spirit told you why. Your security. It's again, and part of your security is your emotional self. And again, why? Because you grew up in a certain environment. The sun, again, and the sun was reversed, but it says just have fun. Like you might be like, I don't even know where to start to heal myself, change this energy already. I'm tired of this story. I'm tired of getting people like this. I'm tired of it always being empty. And so Spirit says, just have fun is where you start. It's the spirit part of self. is that divine energy, and it's all about being in the energy of unconditional love by first and foremost doing what you love, becoming what you love, to being a magnet of what you love. It's like, and then you draw people to you that are respectful, that do love. And this was saying again pretty much not enough time, and so you put pulling a person to you that's really in balance. And unfortunately there's only two energies, love and fear. So again, natural born leader, yeah, if they would should like switch that energy around, it's like it could be again not, because the person that's this crazy needs to put the energy less strategic towards manipulating their relationship and more into like business and creating, and because that would make them see themselves differently and stronger, could put them in different situations to connect them to different people, make them do different things. Because other people don't treat their relationships like that. People that respect themselves don't want a piece of shit hanging off their arm. That's why. It's like they want someone that's going to make them feel good and look good. That's why. Because the ego part of self is that way. And it's justified. It says, well, it's good for my work, it's good for my perception, it is good, and this person treats me right. It's everything's in alignment, everything feels okay. It's like I surrender my ego because this person is showing they are. So it's saying also that you're a natural born leader, believe it or not. You're not, and Spirit says, you don't look at yourself the way that I made created you. You're perfect. Remember that. You're like, no, I can prove it. And Spirit says, it's those shadows. Those shadows. Integrate those shadows because you're unconditional love. That's your me, just in physical form. Yes, you're an expression of me through who you are and what you love. There's not enough of what you love. There's too many spiritual wounds that are, so it's affecting the relationships in that. To make you feel like why do I get this? And Spirit says that. So you can be like, okay, motherfucker, am I gonna meet somebody anyway? Like it's like I got it. Like because either way, I never say don't date. Listen, it's not don't date, it's date, but incorporate more shit into your life. Because whether you date and not date, you're still going to get that spiritual lesson. Eventually, you will keep getting it until you learn it and integrate it. And so I don't say that to scare you. I say that because that's spiritual law. It's just karmic law. And it's from actions. And that's when you're in alignment with the laws of God, the laws of love, the laws of nature, the laws of the universe. That's what you got to do. So you're out of alignment on all levels. This is not a religious thing. This is a universal thing. So, and what Spirit is saying is like, you're not giving enough to you. There's too many of those wounds. And so it will play out because you seek the unconditional love. You seek the connection. You seek, and you're getting someone that's mean to you. You're getting someone that's actually malicious and mean. It's like, what was that card that we pulled out first? I can't even, I don't even, oh, detached. Detached, which understand I'm detached so I can act mean. Because it's again, I'm detached from my feelings. Only I'm not. Because you're not detached from unconditional love. It's like, yes, they're detached from knowing what they're doing and why they're doing it. And that's what they're learning themselves. And that's a very scary thing for people because it's like, I'm not, these type of people are control freaks. Remember, leadership, when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, we see alcoholic. We see like control freak. We see narcissist. Seven of Wands, licking your wounds, licking your wounds. So it's again, so this person might be like in self-pity mode. Poor me, poor me, poor me. So again, just another shadow of avoidance where this person has feelings, but it's like, I don't really want to step it up. Or you may be in a place, if this is you, like I said, well, if I did say was going to look into you licking your wounds, maybe that's you being like, well, it's a timeout because like I got jolted from being like with this person that traumatized me. And I'm in a place of like trying to heal from it, trying to figure out who I am, what I want. And that's not a bad thing then. Death. Okay, so again, this person came into your life to make changes. Okay, so it's actually a positive thing because, you unfortunately, without the pain, you wouldn't be like, I need to change. I want to change. I want to do something different. I don't like this shit. I don't like how this shit plays out karmically, where in my relationships where I'm continually getting hurt. I don't want this. So that's why. And that's a good thing because it makes space for what's supposed to come into your life. So is someone going to come into my life? Not me, but again, whoever is in life, I'm married. So, but I'm saying for those of you, justice, yes. And look at this Page of Cups. And so this is almost like like I'd say the beginning of a romantic thing, the very beginning. And I say that because Page is that. It's like, and that makes sense that the person come to a realization, hey, I'm coming from mask and I can't control how I'm feeling. I'm being forced to change because I can't get rid of this. This is why they say love makes a person crazy. Like how the person makes the person crazy because they're getting triggered, but they're like, I have feelings for this person. I want everything my way. You're not doing everything my way. It's again, making the person crazy and they have to surrender their ego really to make that stop. And so they're going to start where they are. And this person's a baby. A page, I'm sorry, is a baby. It means like you're going to be like, oh, this person's immature. This person like doesn't know because they embarrassed to show their feelings. They don't know how much to give, so they always give too little. Again, they do the rule like coming from a logical perspective, which is play safe. Safe needs to come from being. The fact that they can't control the love is the fact that they're doing it. But understand, it's a painful process. Page energy. No one can tell me different. You ain't getting a king. High Priestess. Again, but it's reverse. So you may be like, well, I really like this person. And even though I know that they're not good, I might give it a try anyway. And I'll keep it in all in because that's this. It's like High Priestess. Like I know, but I'm not gonna like really do. I want to see how this plays out almost. I've invested too much. It could be because as time goes by. 3 of Cups, time to celebrate. So this person may be coming in a lot more different than you think. But 2 of Wands, it's again right after reverse, which is lack of strategy. So they're going to come in and they're going to try. They're going to say everything that's the right way. They're going to do, and this might be the new energy. So remember, even though we feel, say it's your past lover that you broke up with, it could possibly even be a new person coming in that has similar energy. However, they're a little bit more evolved, meaning they're not coming from a negative perspective. They're not coming to hurt you at all. Like, I want to get what I want and just, not care about you, which is what you were dealing with before. Because of my pain that I've gone through. I don't care what you've gone through. This person is like, I really do like you, but I'm like a child. I don't know what's okay and what's not okay. And I'm not strong within myself. So I do the rule of don't show any emotions, which is the same way that I've approached things, which is the wrong way. which understand only unconditional love makes a person change. So be mindful of the way you speak to this person if you're going to give this a chance. The saying, because a lot of you people will be like, oh, well, I'm going to give it a chance. But then you're going into it the same way that you always went into it, which is keeping your mouth shut. And Spirit says, oh, this is what it is because there's a lack of strategy. I have no idea how to deal with this fucking person. It's like, but I love them and they trigger me. So Spirit says, oh, so you're going to go into a on-off relationship because you can't control unconditional love. However, the ego is getting in the way, the shadows again, and this person, and you will be triggered because you're like, this person, come on already. Like, what the fuck? It's like, you never know what to do. It's like, why do I always get the person that doesn't know what to do? And Spirit says, you can't approach it like that. If that's going to be your strategy, you're going to go right down the shitter. Like with this connection, when you're going to wind up killing each other because the passion, the fire, because there is fire, unconditional love, and a lot of sexual tension. And then what happens is I'm getting triggered. So it creates a craziness. And you don't want that because then you're going to wind up on the front cover of the newspaper or like on the TV and be like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You lost your job. You lost your house. I didn't care. You wind up like doing crazy stuff like Lisa Loeb well, I just lit the sneaker on fire, but it burned down the guy's house. You know what I mean? You can see how you can get that way. So Two of Swords, frozen with indecision. And so there could be, again, that fight, flight, or freeze. I'm nervous with relationships. And so you may need healing. So this brings up a lot of emotional energy for you, which will make you, again, have to look at yourself because really this came out sideways. And so Two of Swords is really like frozen with indecision and like red flags. So if you need healing, you may be looking through your own wounds. And so this person will also, like I said, be triggering you also to the place where you can't think. And so you wouldn't know what to do. And that's why I'm saying you have to handle it differently. If you want to really transmute the wounds, you have to deal with your shadows. And so we know what your shadows are. It was, again, about security. And so you have to give yourself that security. And part of the security is, well, what the fuck does that mean? Well, it's the emotional support because this person may not know how to act. You may need to teach them. And if you're an empty well, continually have to tell somebody, well, it's coming like this to that person. Because that's what it feels like for you, that you have to keep reminding that person. And that's what creates trust issues. That's what creates intimacy issues. And when we have that, that's when we have detachment issues. Because it's like it doesn't feel good over time. So the person will overcompensate in another way, maybe physically, but then they're not emotionally. So they make up for it, but that's a fragmented piece of self and one that keeps you in a place of not getting what you want. When meanwhile, this is a soul relationship and you can shape shift the connection depending on what you do, but you could also go back into a karmic cycle just the same. It's up to you. That's why understanding what you're dealing with. And what you're dealing with is a person that wears masks and doesn't really know who they are. So you being the example, because you're dealing with a page, is really how you do that. It's like because a person looks up to you as well, they can't control how they feel. They have unconditional love. They're in pain that they're separate. They're in pain that they sabotage themselves. They're in pain that they keep getting in their own way. You still have feelings for this person. So Spirit says, this is a divine connection. You'd be like, this is a divine connection. You bring me this person that's like majorly like handicapped in the brain. And when it comes to like relationships, and Spirit says it's again designed to trigger you for your healing. Unconditional love does that. So when you get a past life karmic mate, they recognize you in this life because of that unconditional love. So you can't control it. It's an unbreakable. And that's why we say there's no ownership or expectation. So you need to be whole when dealing with this. Otherwise, because two broken people cannot do. And as you heal, this person can be also followed by example and also bring out the best in this person, because healing is all about changing your character and having more self-awareness for like who you're with. If I only care about myself because I came from survival mode and I'm detached, then I'm not even in the relationship half the time. I'm in daydream land. I'm somewhere else, want to be somewhere else. So healing, they become actually a different person, and they can. And that's what your soul recognizes, that true essence of that spirit. That's why we say I fell in love with the version of that person, where you're like, it wasn't really that person. Well, it's like it's the version of that person if that person does healing, and you have the power to do that. That's where the word says, oh, that person thinks that their muse. It's like you're the muse, because it's like I give the person direction and inspire and love and surrender their ego to come to a place of unconditional love. And that's what healing's all about. And I'm going to leave that there. However, we can say, again, you're going to meet somebody, but it's all about, you can have it, but it's the way that you play the game the next time around, whether or not you're getting someone brand new, or it's this person that steps it up to a page's level. Like I said, it's too many energies, so I'm not going to say which one, because I've had that happen too many times with myself, where you think that they're talking about one person and another person comes and you're like, what the fuck? Or you go and get a reading and you get somebody else's reading. So this is why I say it's going to be your discernment. And what else? What spiritual energy also can we bring in? Creation. It's all about creating yourself right now. Again, as you create yourself, you drop the old conditioning out. Because you connect with different people, you get to see yourself differently. I have the power to direct my life. With a constructive attitude, I create what is best for my soul. I firmly believe I can transform and improve my inner and outer worlds by turning every thought into an affirmation and action. I act in the image of God. Character, we're talking about, that Christ consciousness, moving into the highest state of consciousness, which is unconditional love, and bring light into my life. And that is what casts out the darkness. And I'm going to leave that there. I hope that you enjoyed this. And until next time, be true to you. I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.